Okay, so this gamma angle is same in case of solid. Okay, it will remain same, it will either break or it will come back to its this position. But in case of fluid, what will happen, this angle has changed. If you see here, it has further increased from gamma 1 to gamma 2. Means under the influence of force, if I am again applying, if I keep on applying this force, what will happen, it will further deform. It is not like solid that it will break, it will not break. Okay, it will further deform, and if I am removing this force, it will not go back to this original state. Like solid was going back to its original state when I am removing this force, but in this fluid it will not go to its original state. See, if fluid is flowing, whether it will come back, like if in a glass of water, if we are having fluid, and if we are tilting it, and if it has started flowing, coming out, whether it will come back to its original position, come back to original shape, no. Okay, but this happens in case of solid. Okay, so what we are seeing here is this shear strain, gamma is shear strain under the influence of this shear stress. Okay, so if I want to calculate this angle gamma, I can apply this tan theta, like tan gamma will be delta x divided by delta y. And now if the angle is very small, if gamma is very small, then tan gamma is equals to gamma, so I can write gamma is delta x by delta y. Okay, now we know from Hooke's law, stress is directly proportional to strain. Okay, if it is normal stress, then normal stress is directly proportional to normal strain. If it is volumetric, then the uniform stress is directly proportional to our this strain, volumetric strain. And if it is shear stress, then shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. So shear strain is this only, this gamma. Okay, so shear stress what we are applying here, tau, that is directly proportional to gamma. Okay, now if I am removing this proportionality, I will get this constant g, which we call as modulus of rigidity. Okay, modulus of rigidity, what is modulus of rigidity? It is a property of material which is resistance to deformation. If g value is more, it will deform less, this gamma value will be less. Okay, means it is resistance to deformation. Okay, now coming to liquid. See, at time t1 we were having this displacement delta x1. Okay, and angle is gamma 1. At time t2 this angle has increased. Okay, this shear strain which was constant in solid, it is not constant in liquid, it is keep on changing, it is keep on deforming, and it is keep on deforming, that's why it is flowing. Deformation means fluid, so it is keep on deforming. And so gamma is keep on changing. At time t1 I was having gamma 1, at time t2 I am having gamma 2, so it is time dependent. So in this particular case, in case of fluid, okay, in case of fluid we'll have shear change of rate of change of shear strain. Here it was only shear strain, but in this case it is rate of change of shear strain, because shear strain is changing with respect to time. Okay, and this we call as deformation rate. Here it is called as deformation, gamma is deformation angle, here it is deformation rate, because it is changing with respect to time. So as it is changing with respect to time, we can calculate delta gamma by delta t. Okay, now what is velocity? Velocity is rate of change of displacement. Okay, if a body is moving some distance in some time, then distance by time is velocity. Okay, so if you see here, under the influence of this shear stress or force, it is moving. Initially it was at delta x1, then it has covered delta x2. Okay, so it is moving in time from 0 to time t1 or t2, from 0 to t2 it has moved delta x2. So delta x2 divided by t2 is velocity. Okay, so velocity is displacement by time. So if I take some general small displacement, if I talk about very small displacement in very small time delta t, okay, this angle will be delta gamma. Okay, small angle delta gamma. So velocity is displacement by time, so delta x by delta t is our velocity. So this upper plate will start moving with velocity u, where which was not in the case of solid. Okay, now coming to this discussion, here deformation rate delta, we know delta gamma by delta t. Now delta gamma can be written as delta x by delta y. Now delta x by delta t is u. So I can write delta x by delta t as delta u, so it will become delta u by delta t. Now if you notice here that I have written delta u and not u. Delta x by delta is u, but I have written delta u. Delta u means, see, this lower plate velocity is 0 and upper plate velocity is u. So delta u is this upper plate velocity minus lower plate velocity u minus 0. So it is equal to u. But if in problem it is given that this is also moving with some velocity and this is also moving with some velocity, then you should take, like, if it is moving with 2 meter per second, it is moving with 5 meter per second, then you should calculate delta t u. Okay, so 5 minus 2 is 3 meter per second. That 3 value you will have to put here to calculate deformation rate. Now if I talk about very small time or very small change, the delta will tend to differential. Delta y by delta x will become dy by dx when delta tends to 0. Okay, so if delta tends to 0, our delta gamma by delta t will become d gamma by dt, and this will become du by dy. Now after understanding all these things, now we can write this we can talk about the stress strain relation. So in solid we were having stress is directly proportional to strain because strain was constant. Okay, it was not changing with time. But in case of fluid, the strain is changing and it is dependent on time. So that's why we have calculated delta gamma by delta t. Here it was only gamma. Here we have calculated, for fluid we have calculated delta gamma by delta t. So in case of fluid we will have shear stress is directly proportional to rate of shear strain. Here it is only gamma. If you see, shear stress is directly proportional to gamma. In liquid it is shear stress directly proportional to rate of shear strain, d gamma by dt. Okay, now we know d gamma by dt is delta u by delta y also, or du by dy also. So we can write delta gamma by d gamma by dt equals to du by dy. So tau equals to du, directly proportional to du by dy. Now if I remove this proportionality, I will get a property which is mu. Okay, so here also in case of solid I was getting this proportionality constant g, which was resistance to deformation. Here also the mu is resistance to this deformation rate. Okay, and deformation rate is flowing, so it is resistance to flow. Okay, because of viscosity, mu is what? Viscosity, and because of this viscosity property, it will not allow the fluid to flow. Okay, it will resist the body. It is like a friction only. If a body is moving, so on this surface will have a friction force in opposite direction. This mu is also like that. In different layer it will create resistance for fluid to flow. This mu we call as dynamic viscosity. Okay, and du by dy we call as velocity gradient. Now viscosity may be defined as property of a fluid which determine its resistance to shearing deformation. Okay, resistance to shearing deformation or resistance to flow. Now coming to dynamic viscosity definition. So this we already know now. Viscosity is defined as the property of a fluid which determines its resistance to shearing deformation, or it is internal fluid friction which causes resistance to flow. Okay, so if I talk about this, if I take this particular example here, this represents four layer of fluid. Okay, this represents fluids and these are four layers of fluid. Okay, so top layer, if I apply a force at top layer so that it will start moving with velocity v, let's say, what will happen because of intermolecular, see, it will have intermolecular force between two molecules. So these are representing the intermolecular force. So because of intermolecular force, what will happen, this upper layer will try to pull the lower layer also, then this layer will try to pull this layer also. Okay, now this layer will try to pull this lower layer, but now this layer will try to pull the bottom plate, which is stationary. Bottom plate is stationary. So what will happen, here comes the concept of no slip boundary condition, which means this plate will, this plate will not allow this fluid, first fluid layer which is adjacent to this plate, it will not allow to slip, it will not allow to flow, so this layer will not flow. So it will create a resistance, so it will try to stop this upper layer. So here comes the problem. So this layer, if I talk about this particular layer, this layer is trying to pull it in this direction, but this layer will try to stop it. So what will happen, it is creating a resistance to this layer to flow to this layer. Okay, again, if I talk about this layer, this will try to pull here, but this will try to stop this thing. Okay, stop this flow. So what will happen, it will, this will have a velocity in between this and this. Okay, so what is happening, it is creating a resistance between the layers. If I talk about the layers in between, between layers, in between the layers, it is a resistance. It is coming because of this forces, intermolecular forces. Okay, this intermolecular forces, this molecule trying to pull, but this molecule is trying to pull it back, it is stopping it. Okay, so this is what we call as the property of viscosity. Okay, it is stopping, it is creating resistance. So it is a measure of internal fluid friction. Okay, which causes resistance to flow. Now what is the major cause of this viscosity? So it is due to cohesion force and molecular momentum exchange. Okay, this viscosity is due to two phenomena. Okay, one is cohesion force. Cohesion force is intermolecular force between two molecules, that is cohesion force. And molecular momentum is, momentum means like, if I talk about this particular layer, the molecules will have velocity, some velocity v. Okay, and if I talk about this particular layer, the velocity will less compared to this top layer. Now if somehow this molecule try to go to this layer, this layer, what will happen, like, if this is moving with velocity 10, okay, and this layer is having velocity 2, and if this molecule goes to this particular layer, what will happen, it will transfer its momentum. Okay, so it will try to stop this particular layer. Okay, and hence its velocity will reduce. Okay, so because of momentum exchange also, uh, this viscosity comes into picture. So there is two phenomena, cohesion force and molecular momentum. Cohesion force, again, it is because of adjacent layer intermolecular force, adjacent layer intermolecular force, like this. But in momentum, it may happen from any layer, the molecule will go and it will go to some other layer, it will transfer to other layer, and it will exchange momentum, and it will try to reduce the velocity of that layer. Okay, now viscosity is having unit of Pascal second. Okay, Pascal second or Newton per meter square second. In CGS unit, in CGS system we are having unit as poise, and one poise is 0.1 pascal second. In numericals you will be having values in, generally you will be having values in poise, okay, in CGS unit, but we always solve it in SI unit, which is pascal second. So first you should note down this thing, you should notice this thing, that if it is given in poise, then you should convert it into pascal second. One poise is zero point 0.1 pascal second. If it is given in centipoise, then 1 centipoise is 10 to power minus 2 poise. Okay, so you should use this conversion and always convert it into SI units. Now we know about dynamic viscosity. Now we'll study about kinematic viscosity. Kinematic viscosity is ratio of dynamic viscosity mu and density of the fluid. Okay, this ratio is kinematic viscosity. Okay, and its unit is, it is represented by nu, and its unit is meter square per second, and in CGS system it is having unit of Stoke, and one Stoke is 10 to power minus 4 meter square per second. So again, if in problem it is written kinematic viscosity, you should note down this thing properly, you should notice these things properly in your numerical, that whether it is given kinematic viscosity or dynamic or absolute viscosity. With the unit also you will able to notice this thing, okay, whether it is dynamic viscosity or kinematic viscosity. So if it is kinematic viscosity, but you should always usually this dynamic viscosity is required solving problem, so you should able to convert it using density. Okay, and again if it is given in Stoke, kinematic viscosity is given in Stoke, you should able to convert it into CGS unit by multiplying 10 to power minus 4. Okay, now shear stress is only seen when fluid is flowing and not in rest. It is true, means when we apply shear stress, see, when we apply a shear stress here, then only it will flow, otherwise it will not flow. Okay, so shear stress will come when the fluid is flowing, and if it is rest, so we are not applying shear stress, so it is true. Now this viscosity, it varies with temperature. Okay, it varies with temperature. Now how it vary? For, see, for liquid we know fluid is of two type, liquid and gas. Now if I talk about liquid, viscosity will increase with temperature. Sorry, in increase in temperature cause decrease in viscosity of liquid. Okay, if I am increasing the temperature, the viscosity will decrease. For liquid, not the gas, for liquid the viscosity will decrease with increase of temperature. Why? The reason for this thing, the reason behind this is, the it is because of the phenomena of molecular cohesion force. We know the viscosity is due to cohesive force and molecular momentum. In liquid, the molecular cohesion force is dominant compared to molecular momentum, because the molecular so much bounded that it will not allow to go the molecule from this layer to upper layer easily. So molecular momentum exchange will not be much here. Okay, but cohesion force, if you see, the bond is strong here, so cohesion force will be more. So it is primarily due to cohesion force. Now if I increase the temperature, what will happen? These forces will decrease, intermolecular forces will decrease. Now if it is decreasing, means the viscosity, the resistance is decreasing, the viscosity is decreasing. Okay, so viscosity will decrease with increase of temperature for liquid, because of, due to molecular cohesion force. Now if I talk about gas, increase in temperature cause increase in viscosity. Okay, if I am increasing the temperature, the viscosity of gas will increase. Why so? Because here the molecular momentum transfer is dominant and not the, so again if I see cohesion force and molecular momentum exchange, here the molecular momentum exchange is dominant. Okay, because if you see here, this is inside a box there is gas, these molecules are far away, so they will collide with each other, it will collide with the wall and all. So what will happen, because of this collision there will be a molecular momentum exchange. So less velocity molecule will try to exchange momentum with high velocity molecule, and it will try to reduce that velocity, okay, or increase the velocity, okay. So it depends upon the velocity. So what is happening here is, so if I am having if I am transferring the heat, what will happen, the temperature will increase, the temperature of molecule will increase. And now by kinetic theory of gas we know, if the temperature is increasing, the velocity will increase. Now if velocity is increasing, the momentum exchange will increase, the momentum will increase, because momentum is mass into velocity. So momentum is increasing, momentum increasing means the viscosity is increasing. So increase in temperature cause increase of viscosity in gas, okay. So this we know about viscosity. Now we'll study about Newton's law of viscosity. So what is Newton's law of viscosity? This law states that shear stress is in a fluid element layer is directly proportional to rate of shear strain. See, for solid, tau was directly proportional to gamma. Shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. But in liquid, shear stress is directly proportional to rate of shear strain. This question was asked in GATE, 1 mark question. Okay, whether Newton's law, because according to Newton's law of viscosity, stress is directly proportional to strain, or stress is directly proportional to rate of shear strain, or like that. Four options were there. So correct option will be rate of shear strain. Tau is directly proportional to rate of shear strain, okay. Then this we have already studied, okay, when we were discussing about that when we were differentiating between solid and liquid, we have studied this relation. Tau equals to mu du by dy. So now this is Newton's law of viscosity. Now the fluid which follows this thing is Newtonian fluid, okay. So Newtonian fluid is the fluid which will follow this particular law. Tau equals to mu du by dy. Now see how we define this Newtonian fluid, because of this relation. So relation between tau and du by dy. Tau means shear stress, and du by dy is deformation rate of deformation. So with relation between these two, we can define the fluid. So if something is following this law, it is Newtonian fluid. So if it is so, on the basis of this relation, on the basis of shear stress and rate of deformation, we can categorize fluid into Newtonian and non-Newtonian fluid. Okay, so we know what is Newtonian fluid, which follows this thing. Now what is non-Newtonian fluid, we'll see further. First we'll see what is ideal fluid. So ideal fluid is something which in which resistance to shearing deformation is always zero, means viscosity mu is zero, okay, viscosity is zero, and we'll call it as inviscid fluid. If it is having viscosity, it is viscous fluid or viscous flow. If it is not having viscosity, it is called as inviscid or ideal fluid, or inviscid fluid, or inviscid flow, okay. Now we'll talk about, now Newtonian fluid we know, which follows this law. Now we'll talk about non-Newtonian fluid. So we should know the relation between tau and du by dy. So we are having some general equation. See, if I talk about this particular equation, Newtonian fluid, it is something like y equals to mx, straight line. So highest power of y is 1, y in place of y it is tau, in place of x it is du by dy, okay, and m is mu, okay. So it is having a relation y equals to mx type of equation, straight line, okay. This for non-Newtonian, it is having equation something like y equals to some constant a, x to power n plus some constant p, like this. So it is having some general equation, but a relation between tau and du by dy, okay. So the fluid which follows this relation, okay, is called as non-Newtonian fluid. Now this is what viscosity for Newtonian fluid. Mu is what? Viscosity for Newtonian fluid. Now for non-Newtonian fluid, what will be the viscosity? See, viscosity will be always the ratio of tau and du by dy. Ratio of these two means tau divided by du by dy. What will it will give? It will give mu. So this ratio tau by du by dy is what? Mu, viscosity. So here also, if I take tau equals to 0, one case tau equals to 0, what I can do is I can write this particular equation in this form. What I did is here du by I have taken one du by dy separate and then left out with n to power power n to power minus 1, n minus 1, sorry. Okay, n minus 1. So if I take tau equals to 0, then I can take the ratio of tau and du by dy. What I will get is this thing. Okay, so this thing is viscosity. This represents viscosity for non-Newtonian fluid, and it depends upon du by dy. Means in Newtonian fluid, if you see, mu is constant, viscosity is constant. In non-Newtonian fluid, the viscosity is not constant. It depends upon du by dy, and du by dy is deformation. Means it depends upon deformation for non-Newtonian fluid. Okay. And one more thing, if I plot, in y-axis if I take shear stress, and in x-axis if I take du by dy, okay, so it is like y equals to mx. Okay, so what is m? Slope. In y equals to mx, m is slope. So if I compare this thing also, in y-axis I am having tau, in x-axis I am having du by dy, then m is having mu. So if I plot between tau and du by dy, the mu will represent the slope of that curve. Okay, so slope of curve plotted on shear stress and rate of deformation is viscosity of fluid. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll start plotting for different